Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly moon energies and aspects. Welcome to my channel, Mystic Moon School. I am Donna Cass, and I am your sound healing and astrology guide. So, thank you for tuning in again this week. This is a big week. I feel like I say that every week, but this is a big week with the moon's energies. And she is, we are already in eclipse season, as many of you know. And next Monday, a week from today, will be the lunar eclipse in Libra, where she meets the South Node. And we'll talk about that maybe a little bit at the end of the podcast, but when we get to Sunday. And then, of course, next week, we will start off with that energy. It's pretty pivotal. Okay, so let's see. Welcome to the week, though, right? March 18th to the 24th. I always do these podcasts on Mondays. We start off the week on Mondays, the Moon Day. And yeah, I just want to thank you for listening in. Please like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment if you can, if you feel moved to. If anything in this video resonates with you, please share in the comments because it really helps the channel to be seen on YouTube by others who may be interested in this information as well. Okie dokes. So let's see. We're going to get right into it here. Actually, before we get right into it, if you are interested in having your own chart read by me, hop on over to my website and book a free call with me, a Zoom call. We'll chat for 30 minutes, get to know each other a little bit, see if a chart reading is right for you, if it can support you at this time. And then also on my website, if you pop over to the shop, I have a couple of free downloads up there for you guys. Tomorrow is the spring equinox, and so I have some rituals I have that you can download, print out, and some questions for reflection, like I'm showing here. And that's free. You just need to download it. And I also have a beautiful 2024 moon calendar that I created. And that is also free in my shop. You just need to download it. So I really enjoy making these rituals and these different things for you guys. It's fun for me. It's creative for me. And I hope that they support you. Okay, so now we're going to get into it. So, so today is Monday, and the moon is in Cancer, her home sign. She is most at home in Cancer. She rules Cancer. And when the moon is in Cancer, when the moon is in any of the water signs, really, we're going to feel a little bit more emotional, like on the surface, right? And when I say emotional, that doesn't necessarily mean tears. That means that whatever we are feeling, right, any of the emotions, they can just be heightened. So if you're feeling a little irritable about something going on, like you could feel more irritable, right? If you're feeling nervous, you could feel more nervous. So anything emotive that you are feeling, sensing, you could feel it in a more pronounced way when the moon is in Cancer. Because she feels completely at home to just feel what she feels. And that also is, I would say, similar energy when the moon is in Scorpio or Pisces, the other two water signs, but especially Cancer energy. Because like I said, she's at home there. And so she feels at home within herself, Mama Moon. And she rules our internal landscape. She rules our emotional world, the stuff that a lot of people really don't see, right? But we certainly feel it. So we could be feeling it more today. Maybe you were feeling that yesterday on Sunday, and you're still feeling it today. And so, I always say, whatever you're feeling, just let yourself feel it. Of course, right, we don't want to project that out onto others, take it out on others. I can share, I was feeling very irritable this morning. There were a few things that were like sticking in my craw, and it just felt really heightened, which is not really typically like me these days, but I was feeling it, and I was also feeling a kind of nervousness in my chest. And so, I know the moon is in Cancer. I know this is feeling a little more pronounced for me than it would, let's say, on another day when she's not in Cancer or a water sign. But I just kind of stopped what I was doing, took some nice deep breaths, made myself a cup of tea, like took a break from what I was doing, because, right, if I'm in that irritable, anxious energy, like what am I really going to do well in that energy, right? Not much. So I just kind of stepped away from what I was working on and tried to take some deep breaths, center myself, and also ask myself, like, what is driving this? Where's this irritability coming from? And I was pretty in touch with why, what I was thinking about. And so I was like, okay, well, what can I do about that situation right now in this moment? And the answer was nothing. There's actually nothing you can do right now. So let's stick a pin in it, take some deep breaths, have a calming cup of tea. I recommend lemon balm, everybody. It's wonderful for calming the nervous system. And just take a few moments, like until you're feeling a little more centered and better, then go back to what you were working on. And that's exactly what I did. And then I found myself to be more centered and then ultimately more productive. So that's just how it kind of worked through me this morning. And yeah, so it'll be different for everyone. I do want to say, though, that even if you're feeling some emotions coming up to the surface, whatever emotions that might be, there's other aspects at play that could be driving this. It's not just the moon being in Cancer, it's also who else out there in space is aspecting Mama Moon, and in what way are they aspecting her? Because there are supportive aspects, right? Like, for example, the sun today and tomorrow actually, is trining, what we call trining the moon. And that is a super supportive, easy flowing aspect. And so the sun is beaming his energy at the moon in a very supportive way. So I feel that me knowing that, I kind of also tapped into that energy in my own mind in kind of like a visualization, like, okay, well, I know I'm feeling irritable and a little anxious, but I also know that the sun's energies, feeling empowered, feeling a strong sense of self, the sun, right? Shining, that those energies are beaming to the moon. And so I want to tap into that. I want to get centered, focus on my solar plexus chakra, that beautiful yellow energy healing light always reminds me of the sun, and kind of soak that up to help support me. Now, when I looked early this morning at the different aspects for the moon, I knew that part of what was at play in the sky is that there were some really challenging aspects coming from Mercury, which is our planet of communication and the way we think. Chiron, which is the wounded healer, so that's our wounding, right? The things that, we are anxious about. We are fearful of the things that get triggered. That could be rejection, sense of lack, abandonment, not good enough, all of those things and more. And of course, the North Node was also challenging the moon. So that I knew that's what was putting the pressure on my internal world, all of those squaring or challenging aspects from Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node. But I also knew that the sun, right, the big, bright, strong, powerful sun was supporting the moon. And so this is literally how you work with these energies. So you acknowledge the challenging aspects, right? Because it was bringing up my shadow. Certainly, I knew it was. My self-talk was pretty harsh this morning, which also was causing anxiety for me. I was also kind of dipping down into the low vibration of lack, kind of a lack consciousness. And so, of course, that was making me feel irritable because it's not really my vibration. It's not really where I typically am. And so it felt really out of alignment, which is what that irritability and that anxiety was really there showing me, right? It was really showing me like, you're disconnected from yourself, Donna. So let's stop and take a look at what is coming up for you right now, and how true is that? And when I sat there with it and I was unpacking what I was feeling and why I was feeling it, I realized that, like, okay, this is some challenging aspects and I'm feeling them. And the reason why I'm feeling them is because I know there's still some work to be done in these areas for myself. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I know that we are always a work in progress and yet a masterpiece at the same time, right? I love that saying. But, I consciously was working with these energies, unpacking the tougher stuff, and then choosing to stick a pin in it because there are things that I want to accomplish today. And also, by the way, Saturn was also trining and supporting the moon. And so when Saturn is in a supportive aspect to the moon, especially, right, our inner world, it can be easier to turn around that self-talk. Even if that Chiron, that woundedness is kind of putting the pressure on me. And so I chose to tap into the supportive energies that are happening in the sky, right now with the moon. And I chose to channel that energy within me and say, okay, I actually know who I am. I know that I do not have a lack mentality most of the time. I know that I live an abundant life. I know that I am working and growing and expanding all the time. And so I can feel really good about that. And then that supportive aspect from Saturn, who, Saturn is, like, get down to work. But if you do the work, you will reap the rewards. Saturn isn't just a taskmaster for the sake of it. Saturn knows that if we put the work in, there will be rewards that we can harvest at some point. So I just came back into those energies. So if you're feeling any of that today, if that lingers even into this evening, just, consider maybe sitting with it and unpacking it a little and saying, is this really me? Or is this coming up for me to reflect on and say, well, how true is this, right? Because guess what? Tomorrow is a big day, and the energies are going to shift dramatically. Dramatically. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Leo, and the moon is also being supported by the sun and Neptune, by the way. And so Leo is ruled by the sun. And so there is a lot of that strong, empowered sense of self energy because the sun rules Leo and the moon is in Leo. And we're getting supportive aspects still tomorrow on Tuesday from the sun. So both the moon and the sun, our external self, our internal self, are saying, be the lion, right? Be confident, be self-secure, and be brave-hearted. Tap into your courage and really step into your own leadership qualities, however that looks for you. And just be a leader in your own life, really. This energy is going to be with us all through till Thursday night. So I do feel that we can really feel into a strong sense of self this week for a good part of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And there's a lot more going on. Okay, so Tuesday is a big day because, as many of you know, it is the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it is the autumnal equinox. For us in the northern hemisphere, this is the rebirth. This is really the beginning point of the astrological new year. And so Aries, it begins Aries season because the sun moves into Aries tomorrow. And it's Aries season, and Aries begins the zodiac wheel, right? So this means we are starting at 0 point again. It's the new year. And I've talked about this with people in my classes and clients and my moon sisters from moon school, and in knowing that it's the astrological new year, we actually feel much more aligned with that in terms of our own energy and like, okay, yeah, this feels like a new year, as opposed to January 1st, right, where we're still like in the middle of winter and kind of still hibernation mode a little bit, deeply reflective, not really ready to like jump into those New Year's resolutions that we always set around January 1st. But now come March, now the sun is in Aries, fiery Aries, like ready to take action, right? Because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars wants to take action, like let's go, right? We're ready to do the thing. And so it's a really powerful day on Tuesday. So not only does the sun move into Aries, but the moon is in Leo. So we have like double fire energy here. So fired up is like the phrase for Tuesday. Now, what to be a little aware of here is that there's some challenging aspects happening to the moon on Tuesday. And it's coming from some really powerful planets. First of all, the moon in Leo is opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so Pluto, when Pluto is opposite the moon, it's that feeling of, do I feel empowered or do I feel powerless? And that's a whole spectrum, of course. And so you may fall at any point on that spectrum, or you may really feel one extreme or the other. You may see that playing out with others in your life. Someone's trying to exert power over you. Someone's trying to empower you, right? You may see that displaying with others, and not necessarily just yourself. Or you may really feel it internally. So again, you want to ask yourself, well, if you're feeling empowered, that's fantastic, right? And so go with that energy, flow with it, and see where it takes you and what you can create with all that fire energy, right? But if you're feeling powerless, then I would say let go. Let go. Don't white knuckle it. Don't try to exert more control, right? Just be okay for a little while, because remember, the moon moves quickly, right? When you wake up Friday morning, she's not going to be opposite Pluto anymore. So this is just a couple of days of that feeling. And so allow it. Allow whatever's coming up to come up. And say, how can I flow with this energy with the most ease and grace for myself? That's a great question to ask, especially if you're feeling powerless in a situation. You don't know next steps. You just may feel an overall feeling like where you are in your life right now. But guess what? When the moon shifts and she moves into Virgo, that feeling is going to dissipate rather quickly. So it's coming up to show you something. And that's going to be individual for each and every one of us. And so you're just going to have to sit with it and ask yourself, what is coming up for me right now? And if it is powerlessness, then let go. Let go and just allow yourself to flow with whatever is happening. Of course, not if it is harmful to you or destructive or toxic. Of course not. But if it's just something, a situation, a dynamic with someone that you just cannot seem to make any headway, and you're hitting a wall, you're hitting resistance, then that's when I say let go, surrender. And Neptune is supporting us in that. The sun is still supporting us in that. Okay. So what else is happening on Tuesday? Yeah, Mars and Saturn are also challenging us. So, that's a lot of fiery energy. Really, Tuesday and Wednesday, I would say even through to Thursday, because the sun, again, is still in Aries and the moon is still in Leo. And so we have like the double fire energy of, yes, on the one hand, beautiful inspirations may come in, creativity. Leo also is the inner child, right? And having fun, being creative and having fun. And so if you can tap into that energy, that would be amazing. You might have some really creative bursts coming through this week of things that you want to work on next, projects, or even just if it's your hobbies. However you kind of manifest your creativity, that really could be coming through a lot this week with all of this fiery energy. Of course, on the flip side, all of this fiery energy could be, it could be combative, right? It could be a lot of ego coming through. So you just want to watch that. Hopefully it's not coming through in that way. But if it is, just no need for shame, right? Just recognize it and kind of pull yourself back to your center. Remember, in his highest expressions, Leo is the brave, open-hearted leader, always coming from that heart space. And actually, let's see, I know I was writing this when the moon is in Leo this week, I don't remember if I think it's Wednesday, could be Thursday. Actually, I think it's Thursday. Oh yeah, I wrote it right here, that the moon is actually going to be like very close, almost conjunct Regulus. It's a fixed royal star right at the heart space of Leo the lion in the sky. And so, tap into that heart energy, your heart chakra, open it up, and really allow love, compassion, creativity, inspiration, allow those energies to fill you up. Really try to align with that, set that intention for yourself this week, so that even if there's maybe some challenging aspects, but we don't have to give in to those energies if we're conscious, if we're consciously choosing. If we see other people around us kind of projecting those energies at us, well, we can still come back to our heart center, right? Picture that beautiful star right at Leo's heart space, just twinkling and beaming its beautiful, loving energy right down to your heart, right? That's a beautiful visualization to tap into that energy. So I do think that there's going to be some real heart openings this week. I think also, I'm a Leo sun, and so my sister sign is Aquarius. I have a lot of planets and points going on in Leo and Aquarius, and so truth is also, for me at least, one of the signature energies of both Leo and Aquarius. With Leo, the truth comes from the heart, right? Like, in your heart what is true for you. And so that energy could be coming through this week, when Leo is spending, a good 3 whole days in the sign of Leo. And then really, as the moon is leaving the lion, she's going to aspect that beautiful royal fixed star of Regulus and say, okay, now I'm really tapping into that heart, that open, brave-hearted, lion leadership, that truthful, compassionate energy. So I do think heart openings are going to be happening this week, really getting in touch with our desires. And when I say desires, I mean like what your heart really desires, right? I don't mean that in a base way necessarily. I just mean it from a really heart-centered place. And so we have a lot of opportunities this week. We have 3 whole days to tap into that shifting with the equinox energies. I read something about the equinoxes. So, with the equinoxes and the solstices, it is literally the same amount of night and day all over the globe. That's an extraordinary moment, right? Think about that. Everyone can tap into that energy of equilibrium, of feeling balanced, centered and balanced. Everyone on the globe, the planet, the animals, the earth, the trees, like every person, like we can all tap into that energy of balance, of fairness, of equality. That is such a beautiful thought to think that we are all experiencing that on that one day. And so that's a beautiful way to come together in unity. Of course, our time zones are different, and so in terms of linear time, we will be experiencing that exact moment differently if you're looking at the clock, but that is the day where we can all tap into those energies. It's beautiful, beautiful way to look at that. And so, really tap into your heart energy. On Wednesday, Leo is, the moon in Leo is getting beautiful support now from Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node. So where at the beginning of the week we were getting, on Monday we were getting some challenging energies. By Wednesday, the moon's still in Leo, the sun is still in Aries, but now we're getting supportive energies from Mercury, communication, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we communicate with others. Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So I always look at it that when we are getting a supportive aspect from Chiron, well, that's where the healing is available. We can really feel into how much we have healed. And we can just engage in beautiful healing practices when we're getting that support from Chiron. Go onto my channel, pull up one of the sound baths, listen to a sound bath. If it's beautiful outside, go lay in the grass and put your headphones in and listen to the sound bath, right? Book a Reiki treatment. Get a massage. Go for a walk in nature. Make a really healthy, delicious meal for yourself. Like dance, whatever is healing for you, right? Make art. Go for a run. Like whatever feels healing to you, tap into that on Wednesday because Chiron is supporting the moon in Leo. Of course, there are other challenging aspects. Venus and Saturn are very close together and are making a challenging aspect to the moon. So again, this is always on offer to us. But isn't that just a metaphor for life? Right? Like in any given day, there are going to be challenges and there are going to be beautiful aspects that are unfolding. And so where do you want to focus your energy? I'm not saying bypass something when it feels challenging or it feels like you need to deal with it right now. Like if something, emotionally challenging is coming up, then unpack it, sit with it if you must, right? If that's how you're going to be able to move through it. But if it's coming through in fleeting experiences or situations or moments, don't let that take you off your high vibing energy, right? Tap into the supportive energies. Tap into the beauty all around you, the support that you're receiving. This is how we consciously choose our vibration. My channel is all about that. It's all about vibration, raising our vibration. And yes, you can do that by listening to my sound bath, certainly. I mean, anyone that's been to my sound bath will tell you that they feel that during and after. But the thing is that I can't follow you around with my bowls all day long, right? You can't listen to sound bath, 24/7. And so there becomes a point where we have to consciously choose, how do we want to feel? And what energies are we engaging in and focusing on? And that is how we shift our vibration from within us, from our own conscious choosing. Okay, so let's see. So even on Thursday, Mama Moon, she's still going to be in Leo. And we're still getting that supportive energy from Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node. And so to me, it's feeling like a really creative, fun, open-hearted week. There's, I feel that, yes, even on Thursday, there's some challenging aspects from Mars. And of course, the sun is in Aries. And so that's some Mars energy driving that. So again, just, be aware. Be aware of how that Mars energy may be playing out within you or within your relationships or your dynamics. Because, Mars wants to fight sometimes. Sometimes it's a good fight and it's advocacy and it's assertiveness, and that's amazing. And we need that. And it helps us to get things done and get things launched and moving, taking those next steps. But we just don't want to be pulled into any lower vibrational Mars where it's combative and really argumentative and just, feeling like you just got to go to war, right? That's not empowering. And Mars can certainly be empowering. Oh, so we just need to be aware and choose that energy. Okay, so as we are moving towards the end of the week, on Friday, the moon shifts. So when we wake up on Friday morning, the moon will be in Virgo. And I actually love this energy for like the week of the spring equinox, right? Because I always use Virgo. My kids laugh at me, but I use Virgo as a verb sometimes. I was like, okay, come on, like, let's go Virgo up your room, right? Like, I need to Virgo up the kitchen right now. It's a disaster, right? So, like, tap into those beautiful Virgo energies that want to get organized, they want to declutter, dump out that junk drawer, clean out the fridge, vacuum, open the windows, light some incense, sage if you want to, charge your crystals on the windowsill, do some laundry, dust, open the windows and let the fresh air in. One of the things we did on Sunday, the Moon Sisters came over and we had our little spring equinox feast. And we all made room spray. And it's just distilled water. And I had a couple of different essential oils you could put in. And it's a great way to cleanse the energy in your home space. Maybe your car even, right? Or yourself, your closets, whatever it is. So, when the moon moves into Virgo, it is a great opportunity to release energy, old stagnant energy. Fine tune your eye. And I don't mean be like critical per se, but I mean just notice the details, right? Maybe it means looking at your budget, right? Maybe it means going through your bills. Whatever it is that's been sitting around, that has been stagnant, that needs some attention, when the moon moves into Virgo, and she will be there Friday and Saturday, it's a great time to get your ducks in a row. And the highest vibration of Virgo is the healer. She is the healer. And so when we are decluttering and throwing stuff out and donating stuff, we are decluttering our energy. We are clearing out our energy. We are cleaning the slate, right? And there's no better time for this, because, the lunar eclipse is coming up in just a few days from when the moon moves into Virgo. I just remembered, I do want to backtrack just for a moment, because there's one thing that I forgot to mention on Tuesday. Tuesday is that super big day, right? Where the moon moves into Leo and we have the spring equinox, and it's a new astrological year, and it's now Aries season. The sun is in Aries. Guess what? There's one more thing that happens on Tuesday. Mercury begins its shadow period. And some people actually say the shadow period, the pre-shadow, if you will, is even more powerful than when Mercury is in its retrograde motion. And so, I know people tend to freak out with Mercury retrogrades. And Mercury will be a retrograde for most of April, and then clearing its post-shadow period. So by the end of April, we will be coming out of that energy. So the thing is, though, right, there's no reason to freak out at all. When a planet goes retrograde, it's for us to slow down. and reflect. Think of the retrograde as the re-words: reflect, redirect, reconnect, and so on, right? And so when we're dealing with Mercury, Mercury is a really fast-moving planet. He zips through. And so when he goes retrograde, things don't move as quickly as we're used to or as we want them to be moving. And so that can certainly be in terms of communications of all kinds, which is why everyone's like, oh, charge up your batteries and, make sure you double check your flight plans and give yourself extra time to get to the event. Because communications, transportation, all of those things can be affected when Mercury slows down. But really, isn't it an invitation for us all to just slow down? Just slow down a little bit, right? And perhaps even go within a little bit more during these next, 4 or 5 weeks or so. Be more reflective. If something is not connecting for you, reflect on that. Maybe journal, maybe write about it a little bit. Maybe just sit quietly and close your eyes and just speak to your higher self and say, so what would you like me to really know about this? What would you like me to see that maybe I wasn't able to see before? It's a beautiful time for reflection. And so that is going to begin on Tuesday. And then, of course, we'll continue on until, I want to say April 20th, but I'll have to double check that. So, coming back to the moon in Virgo, we are, as I was saying, we are Virgoing up our energy, our spaces, within our, also, Virgo not only rules the digestive tract, that would be a great time to do like a little mini detox, right? Over these next couple of days. And because again, it's all for our well-being and it's all towards healing, because those are her highest expressions. So, and I don't know about you, but when I Virgo up my desk, oh man, am I ready to like create and write and get to work. So there really is something powerful when we cleanse and clear the energy and we invite in new, vibrant, inspirational energy, new beginnings. This is such a big week for new beginnings. So yeah, let's consciously choose that. So as we move through the weekend, when we come to Sunday, the moon is going to move into Libra. And now we are like really, really feeling perhaps the intensity building of this lunar eclipse that is going to take place on Monday. And, because we work with these energies consciously, right? Like if you're listening to this podcast, this is in your awareness already. And so you may have already been seeing signs, synchronicities, people coming in or leaving, right? Anything relational, that is what this Libra full moon eclipse conjunct the South Node is all about. But you see, the South Node is that point that says, let go. You are done with this energy. Stop holding on to it. Let it go. Let it go with grace. And if not, right, then the universe will be more forceful with us. The universe will show us something, right? Because think about the energy of an eclipse. When something is eclipsed, we cannot see it. But as the moon is moving, it is being revealed to us. The truth, the light is being revealed. So yes, an eclipse it's super dynamic. It's what is hidden then becomes seen. And so if you are holding on to something relational in your relationships, within you, in how you show up in dynamics in relationships, relationships that you have outgrown, that you're just not in alignment anymore. They may even be like you dread every time you need to kind of engage with that person because it doesn't feel right anymore. Okay, if you know, then, and you're still holding on, the universe is going to show you something, guide you to something at this eclipse where it's just, you're not going to be able to, excuse me, you're not going to be able to just hold on anymore. Because this is the thing. You say, why? Why? This is the thing. We are all expanding in our consciousness. And if we are holding on to the past, if we are holding on, in this case, Libra, to dynamics with others that are not true to us being our authentic selves, then it's got to go. Because we as a collective, as humanity, the earth herself is ascending and expanding in consciousness. How can you expand if you are ball and chained up to something that you know is not where your energy really is or wants to go? Right? You can't. You can't expand. There's this beautiful song. I don't know if I'm going to remember the words. My daughters introduced me to Noah Khan. And one of my favorite songs of his is You'll Go Far. And there's this one line in it, and I think he says, to go far, you have to go far. And it's all about leaving the small town, right? And going out into the world to be who you're meant to be. And yes, there's some pain in that, but it's such a beautiful song because the voice of the song is saying, we'll always love you. Like, you're the best thing that we ever lost. And so that is what I'm feeling around this Libra eclipse energy, is that just say goodbye with ease and grace and gratitude. And let go so that you can move on, so that you can expand, so that you can go out into the world and be on your own unique path and step more into your true authentic self. If you are feeling that in your life, if you know that there is a relationship that sounds like this, then don't fear it. You're stepping towards yourself, not away from someone else, if that helps to think of it in that way. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone is going to be ending friendships or relationships. Sometimes what it means is that something within you're saying goodbye to. Like, I am just not going to show up like this anymore in this relationship. Because that was the old me. And I've learned and I've grown. And I don't want to show up like that anymore because that's just reflective of my wounding. And I've done enough healing and I am self-aware enough to know that I can show up better in this relationship, in this dynamic. You see? So sometimes it's extremely internal and it's within you and you're saying goodbye to something within yourself. Or maybe it is something with the other person that shows up in your dynamic that you can both say goodbye to and open up to something new and expand into some other energy together. So this is obviously, like, everything is going to be very different for everyone. But these are the energies that we've already been sensing and feeling. someone may pop into your life now that is more reflective of your vibration now, your alignment with yourself now. That could happen at this eclipse. You know, they say that the eclipse energies can last up to like 6 months. And remember that we're in an eclipse season because this is the lunar eclipse, but then on April 8th, we have the solar eclipse. That's a big one. We haven't had that since 2017, where we're actually going to be able to see it from parts of the US. So, you know, this is the first half of this eclipse season, March 25th, April 8th. And so there are two halves of the whole. And so the Libra energies are asking us to let go of the other. And sometimes the other is an old iteration of yourself, right? Because guess what? When we move into that Aries full solar eclipse, Aries is about the self. So we have to let go of the other that is no longer serving us so that we can step more fully into our true authentic self. And of course, as we get closer, I will be talking about that eclipse in more detail as well. I will also be back on Monday, a week from today, really launching into deeper how the eclipse, the moon in Libra, is meeting the North Node, and then the other aspects with the other planets and how that is playing into the energies. Because again, it's not just the energy of where the moon is, right? It is how she's being aspected by the other planets and their energies. And it's all for our growth. It is all for our expansion. It is all for becoming more and more of our true authentic selves. And that's always a dynamic path, isn't it? Twisting and turning, up and down. So yes, I will definitely be talking about that more on Monday in more depth. And then, you know, Mama Moon will be moving through the zodiac wheel after she meets the South Node for that eclipse in Libra. And then she will be moving on. And so we're going to move with those energies together. Again, please pop over to my website, go to the shop, download for free my 2024 moon calendar that I made for you guys. Download the free spring equinox ritual ideas and the questions for reflection. You can follow me on Instagram at Donna Empowered Mystic for more content. And as always, I'm so grateful that you took the time to listen in to my podcast here, to share these energies with you. Always my intention is to help you on your self-awareness journey and to help you to feel empowered and to choose consciously your vibration and how you want to feel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy. If you had any kind of insights or seeing anything play out, I would love to have you leave me a comment so that we connect together in that way. And please share with any of your friends who might also be interested. I'm wishing you all a beautiful week ahead, and I will be back very soon. See ya under the moon. Bye-bye.